What's going on, YouTube modeling community? Pappy here at West Georgia Rods and Customs. Welcome back to the channel. Been at the bench a little bit this weekend. Actually doing a lot of work on some of my builds, but as far as that's some of the time when I get to catch up on a lot of everyone's videos in the YouTube community. And this weekend I was watching a good friend of mine, Mike at Mike's Miniature Motors. If you're not subscribed to him, get subscribed to him. Each Thursday he does it's kind of like it's a throwback Thursday of some of his builds. And it's kind of what I'm gonna piggyback on what he does on Throwback Thursdays to a question that's been thrown out in the community. Might give a shout out to Chuck at That Car Guys channel, and if you're not subscribed to him as well, get subscribed. Another awesome builder and content creator here on YouTube. And Mike and Chuck both are kind of floating a question around all of us as far as what inspires your builds. And that's something I kind of want to piggyback on as far as the three builds I've got right here on my bench right now. Kind of wanted to share with y'all where the inspiration came from on these. There's a lot of things. I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s in a small town. I was a member of the local car club close to where I lived, and you was always in your big 1-to-1 scale trying to, you're trying to build that hot looking car, you're trying to build the fastest car, and one that gets the most attention. With that being said, as you grow older and you venture off into your other hobbies, and this is one that I'm very passionate about, I try to, pay that forward in the same tense of, trying to build the best looking model. Of course, it's not fast, but at least, you try to, put as much detail and attention to that detail as much, as possible in that build. And a lot of the inspiration, that floats into my builds are builds of, possible 1/25th scale builds that I see of anybody that's in the YouTube community. 1-to-1 scale cars that I may see on, throughout the internet or personally, or some of those that I kind of grew up around as, being a hot rodder as far as in the 1-to-1 scale. I'm going to use this one right here to the right as something that really inspired me when I first started, when I got back into building and getting into, going to the model shows. Good friend of mine at Man Cave Models, Shane over there. When I first met Shane, he had just finished a 55 F100 pickup he called Barney. It was painted it was purple, kind of like the character Barney itself. It was almost that same color, but it was just a beautiful build all out. He really did a lot to it. And it's what really inspired me to possibly, go into that next level on some of my builds. So I asked him, I got to know him very well. We started talking about, things that he did to the build as far as, and I didn't want to, copy it exactly, but I wanted to, do it justice to what I wanted. So started going through the internet and started looking at various F100s that was, 1-to-1 scale. And I found one on, I forgot, I think it was on a F100 site that it was orange, just like this one. And I read a lot about it and just really started, I was like, man, I want to duplicate that one. So, you just take it and kind of make it your own. What I did with this particular build was, I pretty much wanted to slam it as far down as I could. I wanted to put all the kind of, the little goodies on it that made it pop. Wanted to tilt, let's see if I can do this and not tear it off. I wanted to put this is actually a box stock kit that I used. The only thing different that I did was I used aftermarket tires, which I used the Pegasus tires and wheels. I'm trying to remember what else I did to this. It's been a while, but I did custom exhaust, did a little bit different with the as far as the rear end and such. But overall, that was inspiration for this build right here was Shane's Barney truck. Took this up to a local show up in Cleveland, Tennessee, and won best of show Ford truck with it. So inspiration right there as far as into that build was an actual YouTube modeler's build as well as a 1-to-1 scale. Other realms of inspiration, if I'm sitting around, if I'm not building, I'm kind of surfing around on the internet for different, different inspiration of 1-to-1 scale. Everyone knows my passion. If you watch my channel, I love Pro Street. I grew up when Pro Street was cutting its teeth, and a lot of the first Pro Street cars that came out years ago and I remember the first Pro Street car I ever saw was Rick Dobberton's Nova 2 or Chevy 2 Nova. That was just inspiration for me. And, growing up, good God, I couldn't afford to put the amount of money that he put in a 1-to-1 scale. But now I can kind of put the same amount or level of detail on a 1/25th scale. One of these days, I'm going to build that particular car as far as 1/25th scale. But another one that was out, that floated around after that was the 55 Chevy Pro Street Cheese Whiz. And just recently, many of you, if you followed my tutorial series of, building this car, it turned, as far as, what I was doing with the build itself, being able to duplicate this, that was the inspiration behind this, was an actual 1-to-1 scale car. Which, if you're new to my channel or what have you, go back to my archives. You can see this car come completely out of the box as far as all the modifications and such that I did to this car, and to where it sits as you're presently looking at it. Another inspirational build that I found one night, I was again just searching, looking at different cars that I find on the internet, was this green Chevy Yenko Nova. I did this particular one. Let's set some of these to the side. I did this particular one a couple years ago, and like I say, you can actually see this one unfold in one of my some of my past archives. Let me set all these out of the way. They're starting to get kind of crowded here on my bench. But this particular build right here, I did not too long ago. And what I did was, of course, did a lot of changing up under, as far as the Pro Street tubs and the big tires and everything. But everything from the front, to as far as the engine itself, is actually the kit engine that came with this. So just a lot of detail. You had to cut the fender wells and such out, but that's the original 427 kit engine that came with the kit. The only thing, that I did differently with the kit, I put a lot of photo etch and things like that, plumbed it, wired it, just, a few aftermarket pieces. But it just goes to show you that the level of detail that you can put into your build, it's not a matter of how fast it can go now, it's how much detail you can put on this. But, overall, it's, I really enjoyed building this right here. This is one of the builds that's going to be traveling to JaxCon in a couple of weekends with me. And I'll be showing this down at JaxCon as well. But, inspiration behind this was one night I was on the internet and I've seen a particular 1-to-1 scale Chevy Nova Pro Street that I was just like, hey, man, I like that. So what did I do? I saved the picture, and then, when it came down to, was ready to build something, this, inspiration behind that was right there, as far as unfolding with the that particular build. But this was just it was a fun build. Really enjoyed this. That was, as far as what all went on up underneath this car, was pretty much, you have to get all the pieces to play nicely together, and then you come down with a pretty much well-detailed build. But But really, Mike and Chuck, great question. All of you that are YouTube model content creators, chime in on this. Tell us what inspires you. Which the inspiration behind it for me is 1-to-1 scale, as well as a lot of the content as far as the models and such that I see, here on YouTube. But anyhow, again, if you're not subscribed to these two, that's it's Mike's Miniature Motors and Chuck at That Car Guy. Give them to a sub, well worth your time, and watching what they do on their benches. But remember, folks, if you can dream it, build it. God bless y'all. Pappy out of here.